Hey, deserving listeners, Single Life, tell all. Let's watch.
You don't care about my future.
You okay?
Isn't he blaming me? He's blaming me.
No, I just want to touch your mama like that.
Who got you to school every day?
Because you never taught me how to drive. You didn't want me to learn how to drive.
Oh, you didn't want to learn. I bought you a car and you didn't even drive it.
Okay, so I haven't been reacting. They showed the scene from the season in which Colt and Debbie were fighting. I've already commented on that. In a nutshell, the way it looks to me is that Colt was putting himself in the back burner throughout his life with Debbie because of the emotional pressure that was present. I don't think it was severe, but it was enough. And the guilt tripping and also his own attachment needs, I think, were at play. And when he developed a relationship with Vanessa, he could transfer his attachment to some extent to Vanessa and depend on her. And Vanessa was trying to get Colt to draw boundaries with Debbie, for better or for worse. And so I think he's in a phase now where he's being extremely boundaried with her. I think for the first time, he's expressing a lot of anger and hurt and resentment that he never felt able to, at the very least, even come close to fully expressing. So I think he's a little black and white at this moment. I would suspect that in other moments, or maybe 5-10 years from now, hopefully, he has a more balanced approach where, one, he is angry and hurt and somewhat resentful of Debbie's treatment of him, but also appreciates what Debbie did do for him as a mother. I don't know. I mean, maybe Debbie was an awful mother and was abusive, and everything that Colt is doing right now is justified, but it seems like it's possible he's in a transition zone towards health, but not the landing place that he will land. And so the other cast members are criticizing Colt for talking bad about his mother. Tim is saying, I'm from the South, and you don't say that about your mother. And what I'll say is, like, people earn respect. You don't just automatically give it to them. So if you have a parent that earns your respect, then absolutely to talk poorly of them is to deny all the sacrifices that they've made for you, all the good that they've given to you. It's ungrateful. It's unappreciative, for sure. And if you have a parent that is not a good parent or who mistreats you, then why would you by default have to give that person respect? By no means is that justified. So this sort of blanket thing of just like all mothers deserve respect is effing ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. There are plenty of parents, mothers included, who do not deserve a single ounce of respect from their children because of the way they treated their children. Absolutely. So I don't know if we're in that situation. And they're really going after each other. We watched the previous scenes and Debbie was crying a lot. She was really hurt. Debbie's new partner is supportive of Debbie, and Colt was saying that he doesn't really have any feelings when he watches it. I think he might be kind of checking out a little bit. They might also be amping this up for the show. I don't know. Vanessa says something interesting, though, that Colt is now a much better partner because he's drawing boundaries with Debbie, but Vanessa is now realizing that Colt is very much of a child, meaning I think that he depends a lot on Vanessa for, I think what the show is implying, and maybe Vanessa as well, is that Colt needs a lot of babying, like he needs meals to be made for him, he needs all this kind of stuff. But I suspect that due to the way he was raised, he actually has a tremendous amount of emotional needs and needs a lot of love. I think that's why, it's just total speculation, but I think that's why in previous seasons, Vanessa would say that he wants sex all the time. And I think it's because he doesn't know of a variety of ways of bidding for attachment security. And so he routes all of his needs for attachment security through sexual activity. And so he is frequently asking for sex. He also could be extremely compulsive around sex or very extremely high libido. I don't know. But I would suspect that it's his attachment needs that he's expressing through that. And he might even want to receive attachment and love and compassion and nurturing from Vanessa to replace what he didn't get when he was young and he comes across as a child in those moments. Might even say, can you hold me like I'm a child, that kind of thing. And Vanessa is either accommodating that and or annoyed with it. It's asking too much from her. I don't know. So we're hearing that. But now they're just yelling at each other and Colt is criticizing her for being a horrible mother, and she's saying, "How dare you? I did so much for you." And yeah, I think this might be amped up a little bit for the show, but I think there's a lot of truth to what they're communicating, and I just wish that they would find a family therapist to help them with this, because I think there's a lot of legit pain for the two of them in their lives, both toward each other and from other things that happened, the death of Debbie's husband and Colt's father. And there's a lot of healing potential there, and to just watch them just attack each other is unfortunate.
They don't have driver's ed in Las Vegas or wherever you lived at 16? They don't have driver's ed?
I didn't go to high school.
You
I didn't
guys
go
are
to middle
so-
school. I was homeschooled by my mother. I'm just saying, when I graduated college, right, I had an internship offer in Los Angeles. I didn't take it because I had to live with you, support you, help you out.
Okay, that's consistent with other things we've heard and makes sense. And if Debbie were differentiated in this moment, which I don't think is happening because of all the pain that she's going through, and I think the lack of awareness, I think she could say, yeah, I made some mistakes as a mom, and I'm sorry. I depended on you too much. I was sad at the time. I was lonely. I was really still grieving the death of your father, and yeah, I probably depended on you too much, and that's my fault. But on the other hand, I think that you could have pushed harder to go to the internship. I mean, it seemed like you didn't want to go, and so I was actually just trying to help you, but maybe I should have been more open to you leaving, or maybe even encouraging you to go more, because maybe it would have been better for you if you did that. Yeah. I mean, so there's a way of responding to this. Let's see what Debbie says.
My entire life
That's
has...
Because at 18, 19, I was also the rock for my mom.
Yeah.
And so at the 18, 19, I said, you know what? I need to go off on my own and be an adult. So I left the house. Don't put...
Okay, Tanya, like in your situation, it was different maybe, and the control was different. The emotional pressure was different.
That just on your mom.
I'm not,
You're a full
I'm not
adult.
putting it on her.
You did. Oh, but I had to live with you. I had to take care of you. I had to support. No.
I've lived every day of my life up until March with my mother.
That's bull.
You were a grown adult. You could have moved out at any time. A grown adult.
When? Every time I try, she do this guilt trip
Oh,
stuff.
that's bull. That is such bull.
I don't know if it's BS because we saw it on camera. It could have been faked or anomalous, but yeah, we've been over that. There was a number of seasons involving her guilt-tripping Colt in a variety of ways. And then in the end, just refused to move out. Colt actually had to move out. And then he eventually told her that he was going to stop paying for the mortgage or the rent or something. And then that's when she seriously started dating, and I think luckily found a good partner. They seem like a good couple.
So you blame me for everything in your life. You know what?
What? I just...
Fine, you can blame me. I
What?
ruined your life. Every aspect of your life, I ruined it. I up.
Are you done?
Colt, what is it exactly that you are looking for in your relationship with your mom?
I feel like my mother's always been...
Great question to focus. They seem to be bickering, and anything that Colt can say to oppose Debbie in this moment, he's saying. And so this is helpful to clarify. Let's see what he says.
Or in your relationship with your mom?
I feel like my mother's always been kind of more of a friend, right? Like, she bought me my first Playboy. I had my first drink with her. It's just like, she was always...
God, you're going back to when you're
No.
17 years old.
No, but it's always been like that.
So you got to think, though.
No, Tony, I don't care. I'm talking to my mom.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that Colt could have said that would have resonated with me a little bit more, but he's focusing on mom being more of a friend and buying him his first Playboy and having his first drink with him. And somehow that's the end of the world. Like, I think expanding from there is what Debbie didn't do, I think would be what he could focus on. It's that she was more of a friend instead of someone that was someone I could depend on. She didn't actually nurture me. I was nurturing her a lot, and I was left alone. I was lonely and felt abandoned, even though she was right there, because I was always concerned about her. She socialized me to take care of her and be concerned with her and put myself in the back burner. I think if he said something like that, it would maybe make more sense to the cast. But the way he says it, it's like, so your mom was a good mom, but also was kind of a friend and was a little bit progressive in her parenting style with you. What's the problem?
What do you like about my mother? What do you love her? You were just saying?
Yeah, I do love her.
What do you love about her?
She's kind. She's loving.
Okay.
She's sweet.
But can you talk about specifics instead of just
Like
general
what?
things? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that at the very least, Colt came into this wanting to start a fight for one reason or another, either because he just wants to, or he is having a meltdown, or he thinks that to create drama means that they'll be asked to come back on the show again and they can make money. I don't know. So it just looks like silliness. Either way, it's extremely combative, and he asked a question of Debbie's partner, and Debbie's partner answered, well, I love her because she's kind and I like her. And so if I was to take a guess, I would say that the producers for whatever reason, Colt came in trying to manufacture more conflict with Debbie, and Debbie came in trying to manufacture conflict with everyone else because she seemed quite combative with everyone else in some odd situations. Or they literally are just that combative and problematic, which, it's possible.
Absolutely love having her around and in my life.
Why?
She makes me happy.
Why? How does she make you happy? Is she just there? Is she naturally, because she's Debbie?
Yeah, good call. Just stop talking to him. What's the point? Yeah, Colt is being ridiculous. If he has pain, if Colt has anger and pain, then, communicate about that. But the way you're going about it, so the other possibility is that either he knows this or not, or I don't know, but when people are made to be dependent and they're made to remain a child, then sometimes as they emerge into individuation and adulthood and independence, a part of them will subconsciously sabotage themselves by creating all this drama, by being incompetent, by making a lot of mistakes, by coming across as immature, because their subconscious actually wants everyone around them to pull them back into dependence because their subconscious is actually afraid to be independent. So it's possible that something like that is happening because the way he's trying to communicate throughout this whole thing with Debbie, he's coming across like a very confused, angry little child who just is trying to argue like an adult, but is utterly failing.
Oh my gosh.
Please welcome Kim's son, Jamal.
Hello.
Hey, Jamal.
What's up? Hey, Sean. Doing good.
Wait, what? So Kimberly, her son, Jamal, is dating Veronica of Veronica and Tim. Interesting. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.